Hi, everyone. My name is Quincy Ellis, and I am one of the dancers with Pilobolus. And I'm here actually filling in for Emily today, teaching connecting with balance. So I thought it would be actually a lot of fun to take elements of what I do on stage and bring them into this connecting with balance class. So there are multiple times when we are on stage as dancers where we are maintaining our own balance and potentially someone else's in a lift, but we also theatrically have to be focused somewhere else in order to tell a story. So as we go through this class today, I want you to really think about where your intention and eye focus actually is, and I'm going to try to push you to bring attention to some other part of the room potentially that'll adjust where you have to focus on your balance. Um, but first, we're just going to do a little warm up, okay? So I do have a chair here just in case you are seated. But first, we're going to take one big breath in, arms up above the head, and big breath out. And big breath in. And out. Big breath in, really stretching the arms above the head, feeling the pull through the spine, and back out. Good. We're going to take our chin, just drop it, and slowly take some nice neck circles. Being careful not to crunch the neck and the back. Whichever direction you want to go first is totally fine. Nice and slow. Feeling the parts that might feel a little tight. Maybe you want to hang out there a little bit longer just to give yourself more of a stretch in those areas. And switching direction. Remembering to breathe. Good, letting your head float back up to neutral. I just want you to look over your left shoulder and then over your right. And then back over your left again. And at your own pace, switching left to right. And even here in this little warm up, I want you to also really focus what you're looking at as you warm up your neck. So for me, there's a door panel this direction and a brick wall this direction. Good. Bringing it back to center, I want you to look up with the neck and down to the floor. And up again. And down to the floor. And again, at your own pace, up and down. And again, really bringing attention to what you are seeing on the floor and what you're seeing on the ceiling when you look up. Good, one more each, up and then down. Good, let your neck just kind of bobble a little bit. I'm going to take both shoulders and bring them back. Up to the ears, down to the back of the wall, straight down to the floor, and then up in front of you, all the way back. Trying to really stir the pot and shoulder blades. Mine do a lot of creaking. Let's go the other direction. Pulling them back, up towards your ears, pushing them to the front, all the way down. Good, shrugging them to your ears, and kindly let them drop, and shrug them up, and let them drop, and shrug them up again, and let them drop. Moving to our arms, left arm, nice big circle around to the back. I'm just right now really focusing on the arm, nice and slow. Good, and on these next few circles, I want you to attempt to bring your gaze as well to your hand, looking to where your hand is going. Doesn't need to be too much, but just a little bit. Trying to get your eyes involved as well. And notice how this might change the way you use your legs. I find that as I focus, I do have to have a little bit more of a bend in my legs. If you're seated, also notice how this might change your core muscles. Good, change direction, so now to the back. Again, keeping your focus with your eyes. Good, letting that go. Switching arms. Starting just with the arm, so don't have to worry about looking at the hand at all. Really just bringing your mind's eye to your shoulder, your arm. Good, now bringing your eyes to your hand. If you find that this does jostle you a little bit, you can just slow down your arm. You also have hopefully a chair nearby or a wall. You can also put your hand on a chair to stabilize yourself as you're focusing on your hand. Good, let's switch directions to the back. Remembering to breathe. One last one. And letting that go. Good, wind your stance a little bit. We're going to keep a nice little bend in our knees. And we're just going to stir the pot with our tailbone. So doing the same thing for our hip sockets as we did for our shoulder sockets. If you find that you're seated here and moving this is hard, you can just focus on your rib cage because you'll be using your core a bit. So attempting to isolate your rib cage in a circle as well. But for us standing, we're going to move to our hips. So nice and slow. I remember when I was in acting school, we do this a lot for warm-ups, and our teacher would always talk about how this was a way to look at all of your other classmates in the eye and have like a little naughty secret with your hips, but never saying anything. It's always what I think of when I'm doing this. Switch directions. Good, and kind of shaking that out, letting that go. Bringing our feet back, hips underneath us. Now what we're gonna do is bend our legs, a nice little plie, and straighten back up. Now, as we're doing these little bends and pressing back up, I really want you to focus on how your stomach and core feel and how your legs feel. So bringing your attention there, it's not just like a bend and come back up, like really thinking about how your muscles are engaging here and in your core to stabilize yourself. It's a good way to help warm up your knees and keep yourself safe. If you are seated, I just want you to alternate lifting your legs one at a time. If this is a little too easy for you, maybe you try to lift both, but that's super challenging. So one at a time, just lifting and lifting. But if we're standing again, hips, feet hip width apart, nice plie, and stand. plie, and stand. Making sure you're breathing. Good, let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, kind of shaking out your whole body. Bring one foot forward onto the ball of your foot, and we're just going to rotate the ankle around. If you need to hold onto a chair to stabilize yourself, you're more than welcome to. If you're already seated, you can do this in your chair, just rolling the ankle around. And change direction. Good, we're going to switch legs. Nice slow rolls, trying to wake up the ankle, the feet. Switch directions, and if you're ready. Good, let that go. I'm going to wake up those toes. These are always the ones that I find really challenging. So we're going to lift our big toes and our big toes only and press the 4 remaining toes into the floor. Feel the stretch, feel how that changes where your balance point is on your feet. And then slowly, we're going to switch, press the big toes down, lift the 4 other toes. You might notice that one foot's easier than the other, which is very true for me. And let's switch again. Press the 4 little toes down, big toe up. And switch one more time. Big toes down. Ugh. Good, let them relax. Now, imagine that you do have like a towel. Just want you to curl up the toes like you're trying to pick something up off the floor with your feet, and then spread them back out. We'll start with one foot and then move to the other. So scrunch it up and spread them out. And scrunch it and spread them out. Good, moving to the other foot. Scrunching up like you're trying to pick something up off the floor. And spread out. 2 more times. Scrunch. And spread. And scrunch. And spread. Good. Take a moment, just feel yourself in your body. Anything you might want to do for yourself for a second. Good. If you happen to have a ball with you, you may use that. I also like to just use my thumbs to warm this up a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of an eye warm up real quick, just to get our focus, since what I would like to do is really push focus. So again, if you do have a ball, mine is writing on it. I like to focus on the writing. If you don't, a thumb will do. I also like this a lot. So we are just going to keep our head in a neutral position. If you feel you need to put your finger on your chin, you're more than welcome to. Keep your head stabilized. We don't want to be rotating our head. We want to keep looking forward. So, ball, and we're just going to follow that ball with our eyes until we can't look at it anymore. So this is about my range of motion with my eyes here. And then we'll switch. And we're just going to go back and forth on the horizon line, seeing how far we can push our field of vision. One more time, side to side. Good. Let's go up and down. I'll go with my thumb this time. So again, up, back to center, and down. I'm making sure that I can still focus on my thumb. If I push it too far into my periphery, then I can't focus on it anymore, and I want to see where that line is. It's about there for me. Once more, up. And then down. Now let's bring it in a circle, tracing, following your thumb with your eyes, keeping your head in neutral. You'll have to switch. Really trying to find where that edge is. Now let's go back once the other way. Good. Bring your thumb or ball back to center. And now, focusing on your thumb, I want you to push your focus actually beyond your thumb. So looking beyond the object that's in front of you, so it'll go out of focus for a moment. And then bring your focus back. And then push your focus again beyond that object. And bring it back. And one more time, push it beyond the object. And bring it back. Good. Bringing down. If you need to hold on to something for this next part, that's fine. But what I want to do right now is give our eyes a little bit of a break as we just pushed it. So focusing on your breath, closing your eyes, and just stand for a moment, breathing. And noticing what this feels like, what your body feels like after just moving all of these parts of your body, including your eyes in focus, and being present with that for a moment. And noticing the little adjustments your body makes when you take away your eyes and you're on your 2 feet. So we're not doing anything too pushy concerning balance necessarily, but our body is always doing little micro adjustments, especially when we take away vision, and just kind of noticing what your muscles do on their own to keep you standing or sitting upright. One big breath in and out. Good, and let your eyes flutter open. Okay, we're going to get into the main exercise of what we're about to do. So, the step that I'm going to do with you guys is maybe something you've done with Emily before, but again, I want to bring a focus into really thinking about where your visual focus is and the little tricks that you may have used in the past, really dedicating yourself to those. I know one of the ones that Emily likes to do is when you're reaching back behind you to imagine you're reaching into the back seat of your car. So any story that you can tell yourself as we do these simple moves to help push where your balance might be is something that we do on stage all the time. And that's something that I want to bring into this. So we're going to start off not necessarily in balance, but shifting our weight. If you are seated, we'll be reaching with our hands. If you're standing, we'll be stepping with our feet. So we're going to go kind of on a clock dial from front to back, and then we'll switch legs. So very simple, just one step forward, and then stepping back. And then I'm going to step on the diagonal, and I'm going to step back. Just that very nice and simple, to the side, to the back, and then directly behind you. And then we'll come back around. If you do need to hold on to something to stabilize yourself, especially on the back ones, because those can be really challenging, feel free. Forward diagonal, and forward. So that's the basic move, and we'll switch legs. As we switch to the other side, I want you to bring your eyes and focus to where you're stepping. So now we are not only moving our leg and shifting our weight, we are looking to where we are going to step. This might make going behind you a little bit easier for you, seeing as you're actually looking to about where you're going to step. And back to center. Good, we're gonna go back, same thing again. Really looking at where I'm going to place my foot. Being curious about what's on the floor. If you want to give yourself a little bit more of a challenge, you can always make your step a little bit bigger. Switching legs again. I like to think of being a little kid and maybe there's a puddle of mud. Do you want to step in? You're seeing where you're going to put your foot before you step in the mud. I think that's fun. To the side. And back to the front. One more time, the same thing. I'm going to show in the chair as well. So again, I'm going to look at to where I'm reaching for, coming back. On the diagonal, coming back. To the side, coming back. I can also use the chair if I want to reach even further, keep myself safe. Reaching back. And if you are seated and reaching, what are you reaching for? Maybe it's the same thing every time. Maybe it's something different. Switching arms sides. Back diagonal to the back. Directly back. Side. Diagonal. And front. Nice. Take a moment for yourself. Big breath. What was that like for you? What might have been challenging? So now I want to actually reverse our focus. This is something that I find myself actually doing a lot of on stage, where I am maintaining pressure and balance on one side of my body, but my focus actually has to be somewhere else because of the story that we're telling. So, as an example right now, we're going to take the same basic step movement that we did, yes, except this time I want to challenge you to actually look in the opposite direction of where you will step. So, for example, if I'm going to, we'll start back first and then make our way to the front. It's a little bit easier, I think, that way. So I'm going to step back while looking to the front. That one's pretty simple. I'm now going to look on the opposite diagonal of where I'm going to step and coming back. Same again as for the side. Back diagonal. This is where it starts to get really challenging. And back, but stepping in front. And coming back to center. Yes? Give it a try. We'll start with the other leg. Again, we're going to start back, make our way to the front. That way we don't have to turn our head right away. Same thing is true if you're sitting in a chair, reaching back while looking forward. Okay, here we go. Diagonal. Side. Front diagonal. Looking as far back and stepping forward. Coming back to neutral, switching sides again. Stepping back. Side diagonal. Directly side. Looking back while stepping forward. Stepping front. One more time. Back. Back diagonal. Side. Stepping on the forward diagonal while looking back. Stepping forward. Last one, last leg. Back. Back diagonal. Side. Forward. Front. Good. Shake that a little bit. One last final challenge. If you happen to have a cup or any kind of object that you can tap with, we're now going to do the same exact thing, except we have a little bit of a goalpost. So instead of stepping now, I want you to balance and tap just to the front. So we have a goal tap object, tapping to the front and back. If you want a little more challenging, you can always put the cup a little further away from you. Again, you can hold on to something. If you're seated, continue reaching. Yes? We're only going to do to the front today. So to the front, feel what the balance is on this leg. I'm staying with my left leg, your right now. Good. Take a moment. Now that we've established what this movement is, and we've looked at the object that we have, I want you to take the challenge of bringing your focus somewhere else into the room. You don't need to move your head with this one because now we're doing something more challenging, which is standing on one leg. It can mostly just be with your eyes. Again, it is really nice to have some kind of stabilization here. So I have one hand on the chair. So I'm going to bring my eyes into another spot in the room while I try to find and tap that cup. And maybe I change where my eyes are in the room. The last place that I want to challenge myself to look is at the cup itself. Something also acceptable is finding a spot that's not directly focused on the cup, but is kind of in the front of the room. Last one. Good, take a little bit of a break. We're gonna switch legs. If you're seated and reaching, try to get your center off of itself, engaging your core while also bringing your eyes somewhere else in the room, okay? And you can even change where you're reaching, again, with just your eyes and reach. We're gonna move to the other foot. So start off on my right, your left, focusing on the cup itself. So my eyes are back on the cup. I'm reaching and tapping, coming back. Just getting used to that little balance. Two more. And two. Good, take a moment, take a breath. We're now going to reach, touch the cup, but have our eyes somewhere else. And this I find is not just something that I utilize on stage often when I'm trying to tell a story, but this often happens in my real life when you're walking down the street and you're not looking at where you're going, and then maybe there's a pole that you run into and you have to figure out how to balance. Same exact thing, just practicing in a more controlled environment. So finding a spot with your eyes, don't worry about moving the head too much. We don't have to get too wild with the head. And trying to find the cup with your foot and coming back, changing your eyes maybe, but always finding the cup with your foot. If you do want that extra challenge, you can always remove the hand from the chair, much more challenging this way. Good, let's do two more. One. And two. Good, take a big breath. Shake that out, nice job. Good. We're gonna do a nice little cool down. So, feet hip width apart, nice big breath in. And a big breath out. Again, breath in. Hands above the head, really stretching up. And back down. One more. And back down. Bringing one foot in front. Use a chair if you want on the side here to hold on to. And just from your hips, leaning forward, getting a nice little stretch in your hamstrings. It doesn't have to be very big at all. Nice big breath in and out. And switching legs. Nice breath in and out. Back together. Bring both arms up over the head. And slight tilt to one side. Getting a nice stretch on the side body here. And back to center. Big breath in and over to the other side. Back to center. Bringing the arms down. And one more nice little head roll. Breathing. And back the other direction. And let the head float back up. Close your eyes. Just focus on your breathing for a moment, feeling your weight into the floor, noticing how your body might feel a little different than it did before class. One last breath. And out. Letting your eyes open. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your afternoon with me. I had a great time. I hope you guys are having a lovely holiday season. And I hope to see you guys all very soon. Thanks again. Emily will be back soon.